Hey fam, what's good? TGIF. I got something to talk about today. Katie Phang. Okay? I don't know, there's a big difference between, this is the first thing I want to talk about, is independent journalism versus the mainstream media. Okay, there's something we have to, all of us have to understand if we really want to try to get to the bottom of things and try stop being bamboozled. First of all, the mainstream media is the news that you watch on television every day. Anything you watch on television. It's controlled by corporations. These corporations are controlled by the pedophiles and all those bad people that are ruining our planet. Okay, so with that in mind, the news that you watch on MSM, I'm not going to mention any names, mainstream media, maybe I will, like CNN, ABC, CBS, even though they're fighting against Trump, against being censored. Bottom line is mainstream media is run by the people that are running your world. So if you know that they use the television to mind control us, like I did in my last one of my videos about mind control and MK Ultra, they use the television to mind control you. This is what I'm going to explain to you now. If you get all your news from the mainstream media and believe everything that they tell you, you're getting the news from the enemy of humanity. You're getting the news from people that want to mind control you and are mind controlling you with bullshit. The only thing you're going to see on the mainstream media, I mean, if a fluke that you might get a little taste of the truth, but that just slips out once in a while, but it's not enough. It's not consistent. It's not thorough. Okay, this is all controlled. Any mainstream media news is controlled by the exact people that are trying to brainwash you and mind control you. They're all connected. Okay, so if you tell me that they said on the news last night, I'm thinking right off the bat, you don't know shit about fuck if you get all your information from the enemy that's trying to mind control you. Hello, wake up. Okay? They're mind controlling you. They're not telling you the truth. They're not getting down to business. Their whole thing is to talk about war and not the Epstein files. They want to talk about things that are bad, to bring down your frequency, to make us all scared and lose hope and have that defeated mentality. Like, we're never going to survive this shit. You know what I mean? That's their job, to keep you low vibe, to keep you in fear. You can't love if you're in fear. To keep you in panic mode, to keep you in survival mode constantly. Okay, that's your mainstream media. I watched it on the news last night, sounds like to me. You don't know anything. You don't know what really is really going on. You only know what they want you to know. What they want you to feel. They're feeding off of us. They're feeding off your energy when they constantly talk about war. When we hear these things that Trump is doing, our hair stands on end. We lose hope. Who can be hopeful in these days? But if you really, but there's the good news is that there's independent journalists. Right here on YouTube, right on most of social medias, they have independent journalists. Now, I'm not talking about podcasters, okay? Random people like Rogan and shit like that. Whatchamacallit? A lot of them are paid shrills. Okay, they're doing the work of the New World Order. They're putting out little bits of information, not sure that it might be true, and get everybody worked up. That's another agenda. These podcasters that are not really, you know what I'm saying? I'm not a podcaster. I'm more like a truth speaker. I'm not a podcaster. I don't tell people to subscribe and join and blah, 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 or push my little social media thing. My thing is I'm trying to get just a small group of people that understand or that can share this information to wake people up. Fuck the messenger. I want the message to get out of there. Fuck what it looks like. Okay, hopefully one person out there. Like Tupac said, I may not be the one to awaken the world or change the world, but I will spark the mind of the one that will. Okay, that's my hope. I'm old already. Look at this neck. I almost got a Trump neck. You know, I'm getting older. I'm getting tired. But I'm going to fight. Forget it. I'm going out fighting anyway. But the fact is that people are not getting the real news or the news that really matters out by watching mainstream media. You're not getting the real news. You're getting controlled news. You're getting fed frequencies and lies that make you react so they can feed off you. It's a whole that's a whole system. They got a whole system going on. Nobody knows shit about fucking. Everybody's arguing and fighting about little bits of information that are put out by mainstream media. Okay, just cause division and bullshit and drama and confusion. That's it. That's all it is. But I don't watch the mainstream media. I watch it and laugh. Say, yeah, right, whatever, right? Everything they put out there, oh, look, they're trying to make the people get scared again with another war. Or oh, look, if the bees are gone, we're all going to die. Bullshit. Beetles can also help pollinate, by the way. They don't make honey, but we're not going to starve. That's what I'm saying. People do little bits of information to make everybody panic. Not enough to really be able to say that you know about what's really going on. So where do I go to? For the real news, for what's going on. Not podcasters. Okay, they just are babbling bullshit and stuff and bring other podcasters on and they start talking bullshit. They don't present any real facts. They just more like a division thing, like Alex Jones. Who the hell is gonna believe that Alex Jones got into Bohemian Grove and drove and coasted his fat ass? I'm not making fat shaming, but his out of shape ass coasting on a canoe in front of a cremation of care ceremony that they have at the Bohemian Grove and other that. That's what made it sound so outrageous. I don't believe that. I believe he was led. Yeah, go ahead, come on and see, and then put it out there and watch them all go nuts and shit. But don't give them all the information, just little bits. Just enough to trigger them to know that something's going on, but not enough to tell them exactly what's going on. That's the same thing as the mainstream media. Okay? Now, I like to get my information from attorneys that are actually there fighting these cases, or they're involved in getting into these cases and fighting the system on themselves. Okay, I like to get my information from these attorneys that are sitting there and watching Trump doing all these court cases, and they're in there watching and observing and critiquing all the stuff that and their legalese and stuff, and what's gonna work, what's not gonna work, but because that's what Trump is doing, is tying up the court system. That's one of the things in order to, that's what on their agenda, make the court system so tied up that they let fascist things slip. But that's not happening because we got more attorneys per capita that want to go after this shit. And that makes me happy because, oh, good, let them all fight. You know what I'm saying? Let them, Trump keeps trying to go back and forth. Like right now, they took his name off the Kennedy Center of the Arts. Now in September, they fought and they want to put it back. You see, so all this thing is petty and it's not really anything important, but it is important, but they want to tie up the court system with everything they can with little shit like this so that they can go and do bigger things like start wars and shit with absolutely no reason to start a war, or even congressional approval and skipping all the entire Constitution and all this shit. Our country is occupied right now, but we're going to win. And I see all these attorneys out here fighting, and it gives me hope. And the funny thing is, Katie Phang, okay, she brought a lawsuit about all the redactions that were done in the Epstein files that were released by the DOJ. She wanted that unredacted. She said, no, we got a right to it, and boom, they had to release information unredacted, and the DOJ had to do it. You know what I'm saying? The guy, what's his name? I remember he used to talk with his voice like, and then now he talks nice. His voice is silky smooth now. Is that the same guy? Because it's one of Trump's attorneys. Anyway, he had to release the files, and lo and behold, And I want to apologize to all the Trump supporters right now for calling your president a pedophile. That wasn't entirely true. He's not just a pedophile. He trafficked children to Epstein, a convicted child sex trafficker, and to the Saudis. It's what came out in Katie Phang's push. The FBI had to release that. So, yeah, I'm sorry I only called him a pedophile. He's a damn pimp. He trafficked children to Epstein. And the Saudis is what came out. Okay, and that's documented. No, go find the documentation yourself. It's out there. Okay? I'm going to give you the link to Katie Phang's page. I'm going to be dropping links of real news, of attorneys that are fighting, like MeidasTouch. They're fighting. They're all attorneys. They are, every time Trump comes up with some bullshit, they're like, oh no, this is wrong, and they're fighting back. Okay, attorneys like that. And another one is Legal AF. Hilarious. These attorneys are on it. Every time Trump does something stupid, they're right on top. But like I said, mainstream media is not telling you anything important. You need to go on social media and find attorneys on YouTube that are actually at these court cases and looking and documenting everything that they're doing. That's the truth. And Katie Phang just opened a can of worms right now. That's my girl. I've been watching her before this shit happened. I'm watching all these online, they're not podcasters, they're attorneys that took the time to tell us what's going on. That's very important. Okay, and one of the attorneys, this is hilarious. I want to talk about an Operation Aronberg that we did years ago. Me and a group of Anons and people that were against the killing of African Americans by police. That was like what do you call it? It was happening way too much. It was an epidemic at that point, where people black men getting shot, getting pulled over for no reason, for little reasons, for petty things, and being murdered in the streets. We were arrested. I was arrested with a group of people that were included also 2 journalists, one from the Palm Beach Post and another one independent journalist. And we all got arrested because they said we trespassed. What happened was I also started a petition that said that there was an officer named Raja, and the guy that was killed was named Corey Jones. Corey was he played drums at his church. But anyway, at one point Corey was trying to go home. His car breaks down on the highway. He called the tow truck. He's waiting on the tow truck. It was the middle of the night, and the Officer Raja guy pulls up in an unmarked vehicle and not in police clothes. And I approached him, and the guy said and Corey said, I'm just waiting for a tow truck, and I don't know, the next thing you know, Raja accused Corey of reaching for a gun or something, and he killed him right on the spot. He killed the poor Corey Jones waiting for a fucking tow truck in the middle of the night to get his car towed. He was murdered. So the problem they didn't do anything to Raja after that. So I started a petition that said, no, this guy needs to be arrested. This was a cold-blooded murder. He wasn't even in police uniform. He's approaching a guy that's waiting for a tow truck in the middle of the night. And you know what I'm saying? And it's like, and Corey did have a license to have a concealed weapon. I don't know how the hell this guy just figured that out really quick, that he actually had a weapon. But anyway, push came to shove. We ended up going protesting. We organized a protest in front of Dave Aronberg's home. At that time, he was a state attorney. Okay, he was a state attorney. He's a senator, a state senator, really? Okay, anyway, and he's a legal analyst. We were all arrested. We were surrounded by SWAT cars and everything, and the entire crew was arrested. All the Anons with their mask on. I had my mask on. We were all arrested. My friends in West Palm Beach were watching the news. Is that Janet? And they fucking called me, and they were like, what the hell? One of them took a picture of me on TV, and they had Corey Jones protesters get arrested. I have that picture on my Facebook. But anyway, it was crazy. You know what I'm saying? And I had my idea. I was like, get me the fuck out of here, whatever. But the problem was that they didn't arrest the guy Raja. That didn't sit well with me. They needed to do something. So, we got arrested in front of Dave Aronberg's home, condo where he lived and stuff, because we wanted to let him know, arrest this guy. And what got to me was that his family was on the news. And they were actually crying, and that got to me. That when I see, injustice like that, I just blow up. So anyway, we all ended up getting arrested. We got let go. And now I see Dave Aronberg is one of these attorneys that are taking the time to explain to us what's going on in the court system while Trump is trying to destroy our democracy and perform a coup, a fascist coup within the United States as we speak. He's one of the attorneys that's doing this for us. I haven't even approached him yet, and talked to him about it. But, bro, you know what I'm saying? It's like it was called Operation Aronberg, and it was run by Anonymous Collective. And like I said, we all got arrested. It was on TV. It was the good thing that came out of it was that Raja finally got arrested, and he's now serving 25 years in prison for what he did to Corey Jones. Okay, so that was the end. This is what activism is. You act, and then you're not really activist, so you see results like that. You know what I'm saying? Proactive that produces results and justice for the people. Okay? So the guy Raja's in jail, and you don't go out, and then, and then Trump came in. And I can tell you that Trump... Being a New Yorker, we all knew Trump as a piece of shit, racist and nasty bastard. And look at this. I can't even believe he became. I don't even know how. We know how it happened, but we allowed people that should never have been able to vote because they lost previous wars against the United States. We allowed them to vote, and their rights were taken away after the Civil War. They were not allowed to vote. Because they were traitors. Hello, traitors to the United States. And all of a sudden, I don't know, I guess that war out, and now they were allowed to vote. And we got this shit again. We got Confederate, Nazis, pedophiles, the 1% paying the poorest, dumbest motherfuckers to try to scare the United States into submission. And I'm telling you right now, that's not happening. So I'm dropping a couple of links where you all can get the real news. Not the corporate news that they want you to believe and brainwash you with. What's going on in the court system, what's really happening, and how we're actually winning. And Trump thought that he could exhaust the court system when we just keep coming back. No matter what they do, we're going to win this. We're going to take our country back, okay? We just got to make sure we get the right news. We got to stop fearing these motherfuckers and stand up. Okay, everybody just stand up however way you can. Protesting, petition, making videos, whatever it takes. We're going to take this shit down right now. Okay? All right, y'all. Like I said, I'm dropping links. I'm planting the seeds. Peace.